Is your vehicle stopping like it should? Does it squeal or grind when you brake? Don't miss out on summer brake deals at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Now, back to the Larry Kudlow Show.
So as we head towards the Milwaukee let's talk some more politics with the great Roger Stone, longtime political consultant and strategist and host of WABC Radio's The Roger Stone Show. That's Sundays, 4 to 6 p.m. on many of these very same stations. Roger, welcome back. I was talking to Dave Bossie earlier about what Chris LaCivita and Susie Wiles mentioned in the Atlantic magazine article, that they are really all over the issue this time of early balloting and harvesting, where the GOP fell woefully short in 2020, and I think it really hurt them in 2022 as well in the midterm elections. You've done a lot of this electioneering. What do you think of that? Are they there, and will it work?
It is one of the very important elements necessary to victory. And yes, we're not there yet, but we're still working on it. It's vitally important that every single potential legal voter for Donald Trump and his ticket be identified and turned out. And some of those decisions, of course, Larry, get made late by voters. So you have to constantly be identifying your vote. But it is one element of ensuring that we have an honest, fair election. We also need to ensure that people, or I should say voters, quote unquote, who are on the voter lists, but who when you mail them, it comes back addressee unknown, who are registered to post office boxes or residential buildings or vacant lots, are not able to vote. The voting lists need to be cleaned. That's another important endeavor. And then if we're going to have mail-in ballots, even though they've been challenged in states like Pennsylvania, and unfortunately in that case upheld, well, then we have to have some chain of custody on them. We need to know where they are, when they came in, where they came from, and so on. I think the Trump campaign, working the Republican National Committee, is very focused on this, and I have growing confidence that our Election Day operations are going to result in an honest and transparent election.
You know, Roger, the House just passed something called the SAVE Act, which basically says you want to vote, you have to show proof of citizenship. And in this day and age with, minimum of 10 million illegals crossing the border under Biden, I would think that's a very common sense point of view. But the Democratic Party is maniacally and obsessively opposed to it. Joe Biden said he would veto a bill if he ever got it. I don't think it'll get through the Senate, but if it ever were to get through the Senate, he's going to veto it. What's wrong with proof of citizenship? I would think that would be a very good thing.
No, I think it lays bare their entire strategy. This is one of the principal reasons why I think the Biden administration repealed all of the executive orders that maintain security on our southern borders. They want to change the makeup of the electorate in the United States, and if that means including illegals in it, so be it. The folks currently in power are bent on staying in power, and I think they know that if we have a free, fair, honest election in which only people who are legally eligible to vote, they'll lose. So I don't know how more open Biden can say he wants to veto it, but I'm anxious to see what his justification is. What reason would you give not for wanting to bar illegals from voting in our elections? And then, Larry, as you know, in places like San Francisco and New York, there's an ongoing effort to allow illegals to vote in local elections, which is, the camel's nose in under the tent, if you ask me.
Absolutely right. But it kind of, in a way that it smokes them out. All right, even the threat of this act passing smokes them out, and how much the Democrats are violently against that. And it does smoke them out. And you're right, these local elections, that puts a foot in the door, and this is exactly what you do not want. I'm hoping it's an issue. Now, let me move on. There's a couple other things. The campaign is looking at 4 major swing states. They don't really believe it's 7 states. They've got it down to 4: Arizona, Michigan, Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin. Roger Stone, you agree with that those are the 4 swing states and that's where the election is going to be determined? And what kind of shape is Trump in for that?
I agree with it today, but you also see a phenomenon now in which the map may actually end up getting expanded. So suddenly, New Mexico, New Jersey, Maine, and Virginia are all very much in range, which, by the way, they were not in 2020. So I think they have to maintain tactical flexibility and the ability to move resources around. Those 4 that you name will absolutely be crucial. However, things can change. If you won, let's say, Virginia and New Mexico, well, then you could afford to lose one of those 4. This is, our politics is very volatile. This race is going to be very, very close. I have a very high confidence level in Susie Wiles and Chris LaCivita and Tony Fabrizio, their pollster strategist, who I believe is absolutely the best in the business. So I have a high level of confidence in their flexibility and understanding that, what was it Eisenhower said? Planning is worthless, but plans are worthless, but planning is indispensable. Roger Stone Show, Sundays, 4 to 6 p.m., most of these same stations. Thank you, buddy. We'll take a quick break and do stocks on the other side.